Alright, Audi 1.8T thermostat replacement. It is down behind the alternator and the throttle body here. You're going to want to drain your coolant. Little thing down there I will show you. You're going to want to take this top radiator hose off, which is just one clamp here. Slide that over here out of the way. Make it easier, take the air intake hose off here, take the throttle body off, and then the one plug in here. Move that stuff out of the way. Take 4 bolts, Allen head bolts, out of the alternator. Before you do so, you're going to put a 17mm wrench on your tensioner here. Slide it that way, take your belt off. Get the alternator out of the way, the throttle body like I said. Then you're going to have one plug in on the thermostat. You're going to have one hose right here. You're going to have one lower radiator hose and one hard hose coming off of it. I will show you. And then 2 10mm bolts. Alright, to drain your coolant, you're going to want to unplug the plug-in, pull the pin, take your sensor out, let it catch into your bucket. So I'm going to take this little pick, pull it over, unplug, plug in, and like so. Let the coolant drain into your bucket. Alright, you're going to want to get this hose clamp right here off after you get your coolant bleeding or draining. Get that over here out of the way, like so. Now you're going to want to get your air intake hose here coming off the throttle body, and you want to get the 4 star bit bolts out of the throttle body. Move that over here out of the way. Both of those. Alright, now you're going to want to start getting your bolts out. Alright, once you got your 4 bolts broke loose, you're going to see the one plug-in. Alright, now that you've got your throttle body off, you're going to want to start getting your 4 bolts out for your alternator. As you can see, I've already started getting one out. Sometimes it might be easier if you loosen this up and this up. It lets this pop right here move out of your way, and easier to get the alternator in and out. Sometimes you don't have to, but to make life easier, you might want to. It all depends how much you want to struggle. Alright, so once you get your 4 bolts out of your alternator, you're going to have your alternator sitting there. You have to get this 13mm bolt off the back, and then the one plug-in right here, you'll just push and pull it out. Alright, once you have your alternator out of the way, you're going to have 1, 2 10mm bolts. This one lower radiator hose right here, you're going to pull this pin and it's going to come right out. 1 10mm bolt here for the hard line there. You can see someone tried to fix it with it leaking. And this top radiator hose right here, and you'll be able to pull it right out. and it might make it easier to unplug that. Either it's your preference, either before or after you get it out. But keep in mind the wire really ain't that long, so you don't mess up the pins or anything in the plug-in. Alright, so when you have your thermostat off, it's going to look like this. You're going to want to clean around all this real good. And you might even want to do a coolant flush if yours looks like so. This right here with a Thermotex, this hard line, I'm going to have to sand all that off with some light sandpaper, nothing too gritty, so you don't mess up the O-ring if you have someone that did something like this, in my case. Yep, got your one hose. I took my plugins over here out of the way. Yep. Alright, another thing, forgot to note. When doing these thermostats, do not get a cheap one. If you get one off eBay, Amazon, you know, one of the cheap China-made ones, this piece right here for that the hard line goes to, see how it's nice and flush there? Hard to tell. But if you get a cheap one, it won't sit flush, and it will cause this to leak really bad out this far back corner. And that's why you see someone put Thermotex on it. Seen this more than one time, and it's going to happen 9 times out of 10. Not every case, but most cases. I highly suggest getting a good one. They run about 70, anywhere from 70 to 130 bucks, and you won't have this issue. About 130 bucks if you want to get one from a parts store instead of like an OEM or from Euro Tuning or something like that. Parts store, 130 bucks, lifetime warranty. It's whichever route you decide to go. Alright, so when putting this sensor back in, just gonna take it, push it in. You're gonna take your pin, and it's gonna slide in like hard to do one-handed. It's gonna slide in like that, and it's in there good. And then you're gonna take your plug in and push it in there. Make sure it's good. Make sure everything's up and out of the way, like so.